All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. First, I just want to start off, and we're going to talk about what is good teaching. So we've talked about it before, so we're just going to go back and revisit that. What is good teaching to you again?
I really liked, especially after our last conference that we did, those 4 different areas of I don't remember the name of it, but it kind of encompassed, a teacher that plans based off of her kids' needs or his or her kids' needs, and uses, their strengths and weaknesses in instruction and planning, and then also just makes a well-based, question-oriented learning environment that's not just teach, but conversation-wise.
So using the different components of the Danielson?
Yeah, Danielson.
Okay, the Danielson, yeah. So yeah, those are great. So just think about I'm going to go over some words now, and you're going to tell me how you feel when you hear these words. Okay. Evaluation, assessment, rubric, rate, levels, rank, judgment. So what are some thoughts you have when you hear those words?
Anxious. Literally, you say the word evaluation, and I kid you not, my whole body was tense. I feel like they all kind of fit into that one of the last words you said was judge. And I feel like all of those is a form of judgment. It doesn't have to be a negative judgment. You can have a wonderful evaluation, but at the end of the day, you're feeling like you're being judged on what you're doing. Right. And they're good because, it shows you what you're doing correctly, what you could, fix up a little bit. But it's still, I think, makes anybody feel somewhat anxious.
Right. And that's for any teacher, someone that's brand new to teaching, someone that's been teaching, 20 years, they're still going to have some type of anxiety when it comes to being evaluated, because a lot of times evaluators come in and they're looking for what you're doing wrong, to be honest. Yep. That's what we have in our mind. They're looking what I'm doing wrong. But that's not always the case. But, that's what we have in our mind. They're looking what I'm doing wrong. But like you said, I have the same feelings. I get anxious. I'm nervous the whole time. I fumble on my words.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like whenever you get judged in the sense, it's when everything goes wrong to you. You're just like, sorry.
Yep. All right. So when we're doing our evaluations together, we're going to have some level of performance as well. So we're going to tie in the Danielson with that, and there's going to be a rating or a leveled system, a rating system for that. And I emailed that to you so you could look over that, and I can share my screen.
Is it the rubric one or is it the other one?
The rubric.
Okay, I have that one open.
You have it open? Okay, cool. Perfect. Okay, so I have it with me as well. And so basically for each of the domains and each of the components, there are the 4 different levels, starting at beginning, developing, proficient, and distinguished, so we can rate just like we do in TEKS, to see if you're meeting that component or that domain. So this is what we will be using this next coming up semester when I'm doing future ratings and stuff. And it's something you can look at too, I'll mention more later what we're going to use it for. But I just wanted to go over that a little bit. But before we go more into that, I think I skipped too far ahead. So do you agree with the levels, beginning, developing, proficient, and distinguished?
Like the wording of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that they're not worded in a negative way, so that's nice. Especially the last one's distinguished, I don't know that if I reach a distinguished, I'd be like, woohoo. But it's definitely worded in a growth mindset type of way, which is nice.
Okay. So if you would if you could change them, what would you think you would call them?
I think I would change proficient to demonstrating, because I feel like if you don't reach, I don't know, like proficient to me, it just sounds like that you're doing it, whereas like beginning and developing wouldn't. To me, I'd be like, oh, well, then I'm not doing it since the other one's like proficient. And so maybe like beginning, developing, demonstrating, and then I like the word distinguish. I would keep that one there. So maybe changing the proficient to demonstrating.
Mm-hmm. I like that one, like what you just suggested.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think this tool overall is something good to use as far as like our evaluations and what my purpose is for you?
Yeah, I think it breaks it down very nicely, and like in terms of all the different like standards that we talked about last time. Yes.
Okay. And I'm taking notes. Just
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so we're gonna go over your observation. So I had you do your rating scales. Did you send that to yourself too?
When I have it on my email.
Oh, you do have it on your email. Okay, so let's look at watch the students in the classroom first. So how you rated them.
Okay. Okay, I've got it up.
Okay. All right, so what was your strongest area, do you think, in that?
In this lesson, I was actually very pleased in the engagement that I had from my students, because that day was a really good day. I had kids like answering questions. Of course, I had my one in the corner that was not having a good day that day, but for the most part, like everybody was really engaged and they interacted. Like the second one is interacted respectfully. I didn't put a 7 for either of those because I think there's always room for growth in that, but I was just really pleased in how they were and how they were involved in it, because opinion writing, it's hard for my kiddos to grasp. And so like they were just really, like when one of them answered and was like, oh, opinion is how you think, feel, or believe. I was like, yes. Like,
yeah, that was good.
So it was just nice that they were engaged.
Yeah, I put the same thing, that they interacted respectfully. They were engaged, so that I agree that their engagement, they were really good. They were all on task, except for our one, but but 90% that they were doing really well.
Yeah. So, and normally it's actually funny that one that wasn't engaged that one time, it's always a toss up, because out of the 3 subjects that I have that one for, like it's always at least one of them. So it's like 2, he'll be good to go. That day, I remember he had a great other 2 subjects, and then writing. I was like,
it was going to be writing. Mm-hmm. But it seems like he's still paying attention. He just doesn't want to sit up.
He just doesn't want to pick it up, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then when it came time to actually writing, he just did not want to do anything.
Yeah.
So it's hit or miss with when they're doing stuff like that. Oh. Which which of the things that you rated on would you want to improve more on?
I put at the bottom the high level conversation engagement, because that's something that I definitely think I can work on, is making sure my kids not only know what's going on, but they're able to explain it and ask those in-depth questions. That's something that's really hard for my group is questioning and asking those questions, especially when it's something like writing. I don't think that they realize you can still ask questions about something so concrete as writing, because it is such a creative ordeal, even if you're just writing an opinion piece. It's very creative. So that high level conversation.
Yeah, I put the same thing actually. That was the one I scored the lowest on when I did it, and I agree. They seem to have just kind of a basic conversation. They weren't going in depth, so I don't know if they have those tools yet. I don't know what they're doing in their general ed classroom. As far as outside subjects, do all those students come to you for the other subjects? So I don't know, maybe that's something you can practice in all the subjects that they come to you to, of more higher and high level questioning. That way that can transition to, throughout the other subjects. I'm just practicing the high level questioning.